We are.
I'll give it a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome everyone to We Inspire Together. I am your host, Shaw Hayes, and to the right of me, or whichever way you're looking, is our founder and co-host, Kiana Tennant. We are honored to have here with us a teen entrepreneur. She is a author. She is a designer, motivational speaker. I mean, like the list is long. I'm just trying to get some inspiration from her because she's done phenomenal. I put my thing on do not disturb. Wait a minute. This is what happened. See, this is what happened when you go in and out of something. Okay, let's make sure. Let's do this again for the edited version of this. I said do not disturb. So why are people so able to FaceTime me? I don't know. Anyway, and take two. And take two. Welcome everyone to We Inspire Together. I am your host, Shaw Hayes, and here we have with us our founder and co-host, Kiana Tennant. Whichever way you're looking, right or left, she's over here with the bun on top. Oh wait, Essynce has a bun, so that's not descriptive enough. She has a big chunky necklace on, so that's Kiana, and she's the older lady of the group. So,
Oh, really?
we are honored to have teen entrepreneur. She is an actress, an author, a model. She has clothing lines. She has a plethora of businesses. So, you know, I need to get some advice from her. But we are honored to have here with us, Essynce. We are so honored to have you here. Welcome, Essynce Moore.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Hi, Essence. Thank you for joining us. We are so excited to have you and to learn all about everything that you're doing. You're from New Jersey. You now are in Atlanta. And we're looking forward to hearing your story.
I'm looking forward to sharing. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, we are so excited. So we're just going to jump right in. How did this all start? What was the first thing? Like, you have so much. So what was the first thing that you actually started with?
I always say my first love was definitely fashion. That was my first love. And ever since I was 6 years old, I've loved designing clothes. I would pull sheets off of my bed and turn them into gowns and model them for my family. The fabric store was like my candy store. And so when I was 10 years old, my mom, she asked me, she was like, you know, you're still so passionate about fashion. You're still designing these clothes. And she would always give me like little sketchbooks and stuff for Christmas just to encourage me. And she was like, you're still doing this. You still love it. Do you want to turn this into a business? And I said yes. And I had my first photo shoot launch party in 2013. I had my first collection of clothes made. I had my friends and my old dance crew members model for me. And it was amazing. And since then, I've just been doing what I love. Everything is sort of worked out and flowed beautifully. And acting was my second love. So I was acting, and I always loved being in movies, being in front of the camera, and I love writing. So once I got to middle school, that really kicked off, and I managed to publish 3 books by my freshman year of high school. And just like I said, doing what I love, doing what I'm passionate about, and it has been a journey.
So you started this at what age?
I started my business when I was 10.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. We got some work to do, Kiana.
We are far behind.
We all got work to do. The journey's just beginning.
But that's so great, though, that you had that, especially your mom being able to pour into you that way and be able to. She saw that you had a passion and was like, let me give you this, and that inspired you to branch out to do a lot more things. And I saw there was one of your pictures where you were actually painting, so you paint too as well, right?
I do. I'm very artistic. Honestly, I love anything and everything that allows me to express myself. Painting is very therapeutic. It is very fun. It is very peaceful. And so that's something I enjoy doing as well.
That is so great. That is so great. Have you ever did your own little version of a paint and sip with your friends, or you just do?
I want to. That's so crazy. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while now, and we actually just moved. We've gotten a bigger place, and we're in the process of decorating all of that. So that's something I definitely intend on doing. I want to do a paint and sip. I want to do a tea party.
Yes.
Just a bunch of stuff. Yes.
That would be so great. Listen, you could do a virtual one, because I can't say I'll be able to make it to Joy, but just being able to see you do it, and you can do a virtual aspect, especially not everything is virtual. So that's so
a good idea. I'm gonna keep it in mind. Yes.
Yes, that'll be great to have that on there. So when you decided to, I guess, get into this business? Like, how did you have people that you knew already? How did you kind of connect to things in terms of getting your books published? And how did you even know how to start there?
So networking is very important. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And so fortunately, I was always in the entrepreneur atmosphere, that whole idea of building your own boss. My mom is an entrepreneur. So even as a little kid, like, she's an event planner. So she would take me to these events, these parties, and I would run the cotton candy machine or the snow cone machine for her and watch her work, watch her do her thing. And when it came to getting the books to become mandatory readings in schools and getting them published in that whole process, well, first and foremost, I self-publish. A lot of people think I have ghostwriters. I wrote my entire books by myself. It was some hard work.
That is awesome.
So we met with a graphic designer. I shared my vision in terms of how I envisioned the cover, how I wanted that to be. And in terms of getting the books in schools, we started within my school district. And basically, once we met with the principal, the superintendent, and the Board of Education, and explained why these books weren't a want, they were a need. And so, because my books really go into not only school, but what goes on within inside the minds of the youth, and why that is necessary information to know. So it was definitely a process, definitely a journey, and we felt so accomplished once it was finally all settled in. Once we got my schools on board, we pitched out to other schools in New York and just different places around the country, and it fell into place.
That is so great. Are you working on any other books right now?
I don't want to share too much. I don't want to share too much. But what I will say is I intend on writing much more. Yes, yes, thank you.
But that's good. I mean, no matter what you're saying, inspired. So I know you probably journal a lot.
I do. Absolutely. That's what gets me through these days, man. Quarantine, this year especially, journaling, absolutely.
Because you were working just online for school?
I just graduated, class of 2020. I just graduated, yes.
So you're a part of the 2020 quarantines class, and you weren't able to experience the year of all the things that people celebrate in their senior year.
I sure was. It's going in the history books.
Oh, wow. How was that for you? How was that as being a teen? How was the experience for you?
It was an interesting experience, especially for me, seeing as I'm not very fond of school. It's not something I very enjoyed, and it's something I was good at, but I didn't find pleasure in, because I feel like there are a lot of changes that can be made within the education system. There is a lot of improvements that can be made in terms of what we are learning and why we are learning it. However, I think a lot of us did look forward to those experiences in regards to prom and graduation. We never really got that closure, but we also got a reality check in the sense of what the world is, what it can become under the circumstances, and how we can move forward from it, what we can do within ourselves in order to learn how to cope within this crazy world. So it's got some negatives, it got some positives. I choose to focus on the positives.
And I was just watching a segment, I think it was on a Today Show. They were saying how the children coming out of this year will be so resilient, because having to be faced with so much all at once, and especially something that nobody could plan for, you'll have resilience about yourself that you didn't know, and which I guess in some ways will help you, because with everything that especially in this industry, you got to have tough skin. And so going into this kind of pandemic and not knowing the end result, you probably had to deal with a lot of challenges. So that's good that you were able to no one wants to go through this, but I guess it's in a sense preparing you.
Absolutely.
So, what do you, as far as in your life, in terms of what you're doing with your everyday thing, like right now, when you wake up, do you kind of have like a order of things you want to do?
I keep a to-do list. I'm very big on trying to stay busy, just maintaining focus and prioritizing my purpose. And so in the morning, I try to be very intentional with my day. I feel like we choose how we want our day to go. You shouldn't, let me see no, you choose, I'm going to have a good day today. I'm very big on affirmations, and I love playing music in the morning, eating breakfast, that type of thing. And then getting started, I've been working on my acting. Like I said, I have a bunch of projects coming, and I cannot wait for them to be released, because this silence is like killing me. I'm ready to share with the world. But yeah, just staying busy, staying focused. And my mom is definitely a big contributor to that, in terms of just making sure I'm, headstrong and everything. So that's my day.
That's awesome.
So what was your mom your first mentor, or do you have someone else who was your mentor?
I have many mentors. I would definitely say my mom is my first. I've always been a sponge, so just very open to learning and receiving as much information as I could from whoever I could. But my mom, she's definitely been my mentor in the sense of just me observing and watching her and how she handles the world and life. And so I've learned so much from her, absolutely.
So what's like one advice that she gave you through this whole experience that you kept close to you?
Ah, she's given me so much. Let me think. Some advice she's given. I've never gotten that question
Do the
before.
dishes, Essence. That's gonna build you up.
She has shared with me that in the end, all you need is self love. That gets you very far.
Mm,
And in the end, she's taught me that you have to be so in love with yourself that nothing else matters because
Mm,
you will have haters, you will have so many setbacks, and your ability to get back up is going to determine who you are.
mm-hmm.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, are you an only child?
I'm my mom's only child. I'm
Oh,
one of four out of my dad's children, yes, but I'm the oldest. So,
well, but
yeah.
you have both sides of it though, so you get to kind of
Yeah.
like I'm an only child kind of thing. But having that experience of having siblings, do you all get to play off each other?
I I would say we're very individualistic. I've learned to be very independent. I'm very dependent upon myself. And I've noticed too, as I get older, I used to be very extroverted as a child. As I get older,
Mm,
I find myself being more introverted. I prefer keeping to myself more. And
Mm,
so I spend a lot of time within rather than without.
mm. I guess because you're processing as a creative
Yeah.
mind is a lot going on in here, and so a lot of times noise becomes distracting. And not to say
Yeah.
family can be, but it's a lot and it's consuming when you having that, especially when you got all this stuff that you got to get out. So that's good that you're
Mhm.
finding that time because a lot of times it's hard as adults creating a balance. So it's good that you know for yourself that you need to pull back. Because a lot of
Absolutely.
yeah.
I'm very sensitive to energy. So even I'll be social, I'll hang out, go to parties, all that stuff with my friends. And then it's like, all right, I need to go home and be with myself now.
Yeah, that's it. Like
Balance.
it's not
Absolutely.
you.
Balance.
well, that's a good thing. You know yourself. There are
Yeah.
many people that don't know themselves, so
Don't
that's
have that
very
self-awareness.
important.
Yeah.
But what do you like to do to have fun though?
Fun. I'm very big on fun. I love fun. I went to the carnival, the local fair with my friends about a week ago. That was great. And one of my friends and I'm a big kid. I always say I have no intention of growing up. Growing up
You're
is a
Peter
choice.
Pan.
Growing old is mandatory. So I was at the mall with one of my friends, and the little animals you'll see little kids riding around in the mall.
Yes.
Me and my friend, we paid our $30. We started riding the little cat, and she had the dragon around the mall, just having the best time ever. So I love fun. I'm very big on being present and just being within the moment because this is all we got. So I definitely will take advantage of a fun opportunity.
And that's so good that you know that though, because I'm the kind of person at the old age that I am, this is the same one who wants to still do that kind of stuff. Because I took my kids to the pumpkin patch yesterday, and it's like running around with them. And just because the moment you start being like, oh, I'm too old for that, is the moment when you start feeling that way. So that's good you know that for yourself, that you have that presence of mind to say, I don't care that that's 4 or 5 year olds. I still want to do that.
Mhm.
So that's great.
Right.
So have you like because it puts me in a mind of like a animation wise. Like have you ever thought about doing something like that, like voiceovers or anything like that?
I've been asked that before. I would love to. I love acting, anything on screen, in front of the camera, behind the camera. I could definitely see me doing that.
Okay. I can
Me
see you
too.
doing it too. I can see almost like something specific to you because like something that's about venture and creativity and things of that nature.
Mhm.
So was moving to Georgia part of the plan to push your career forward?
I would definitely say it was a part of the plan in the sense of just growing and expanding. My mom, she attended Clark University. She
Mm,
loved Georgia for such a long time. I always wanted to move here. And then we had an incident with our family that sort of pushed us, it gave us a show we need to come here. So, in terms of expanding and growing and networking, it has definitely been beneficial to my career. And it's all about moving forward, just grow.
So how was it switching schools from New Jersey and now to Atlanta and making new friends?
Very different, very interesting. I'd never been the new kid before until I moved here. In New Jersey, most of my friends, I attended the same school district from, I want to say, kindergarten to my sophomore year in high school. So all my friends, we grew up together. We knew each other very well. Even my associates, we knew each other very well just because we'd known each other for so long. And so when I moved, it was definitely a challenge at first. And there were definitely a lot of rough days. But I don't think I've ever been closer to myself than I was before when I moved, because when I moved, I was all I had. It was just me and my mom and our animals.
Oh.
And so it was a learning process. And I think my senior year, I'd learned to expand more. I feel like junior year, I was very set in my ways in terms of I already have friends, just want to get through this. But senior year, I actually opened up and met some new people, and my life changed. And I think it changed for the better.
That's good. Because oftentimes people feel like, being closer to New York or even LA, in terms of film and television, you have to be there. And I saw that one of the things you said you wanted to be able to meet is Tyler Perry, and he's there. So have you been able to get close to him? Have you tried to make connections since you've been down there?
I've been always working, always reaching out. It is definitely something that requires persistence and patience. So I've written letters, and we heard about the reconstruction of Tyler Perry Studios. So we've been trying to get there. Like I said, man, this year has been crazy. So it's just everything's in the work. Everything requires a process, and we're definitely still on it though. That's still part of the plan.
Now, what are your thoughts in terms of content creation? I know a lot of going to building your brand and business is about creating a social media platform and creating content. What are your thoughts in terms of that, and how much you use it to build yourself or put yourself out there?
I think that's such a fascinating question, because that's such a 2020 question. Social media and everything, it is such a consistent part of this generation and just the times we're living in. I think content creation, it should definitely be true to you. I don't think you should ever force any sort of thing, but I also feel as though it requires a lot of consistency. Consistency is very important. That's definitely something I've learned. It's also a very broad market in terms of so many people can get involved. Like, if a lot of people I know who don't know what they want to do with their lives, who don't know what their passion is, they turn to content creation and they find their passion there. So I think it's definitely offering a lot of opportunities, especially for our young people. And it's got its negatives, it's got its positives, and it's definitely something we're all learning a lot about, especially within these past couple years. It's become very relevant, especially this year, in terms of everything being virtual. And so I think it's something very powerful, and you can either take advantage of it or let it take advantage of you.
So what's a challenging part of being a teen entrepreneur?
I think a challenging part is just the balance, trying to balance it all in terms of maintaining my social life and also staying on top of my goals and my dreams. The balance has always been a bit of a challenge. And also just staying motivated too. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time and I've done so much. I still have a lot to do, and just maintaining that focus and that passion, that can be challenging at times. But fortunately, I have a very supportive support system that I'm grateful for. So that's definitely helped me through these times.
Awesome.
So have you found yourself during this quarantine being able to be more creative, or has it stifled you a little bit more because you're not able to have as many outlets as you normally would?
I've definitely found myself being more creative. I have, because you put me in a room and all I've got is my imagination, then it's okay, what am I going to do with it? Even moving into a new house and trying to figure out how I'm going to decorate, where am I going to put this, what do I want it to feel like when I enter my room? Like, it's definitely sparked some creativity, because we were put in a position this year where all we had was ourselves, and the only one we really had to be with is ourselves. So I've developed a very passionate and loving relationship with myself that's forced me to be creative and learn, okay, Essynce, this is what you've got. What are you going to do with it?
Well, when you have other friends, because you seem very self-aware of yourself at such a young age, and a lot of people at your age don't know. Like, how do you talk to your friends or your peers who often are at a crossroads in their lives, trying to figure out what they want to do? Like, when it comes down to, like, even going to college or, trying to take on some new idea, what advice do you give them?
I try to come at it from a place of understanding. I'm very empathetic. And the way I see it, any of us could end up in any type of situation. So it's just, I see where you're coming from, and I'm very big on solutions. Like, let's acknowledge the problem, let's figure this out, and let's determine what are we going to do about it, what are we going to do with this. I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned from like the time I wrote my books to now is be wise in terms of who you surround yourself with. My circle has gotten very small, and it is full of very intellectual and driven individuals. And so it's not just me pouring into them, it's a mutual exchange, it's a mutual benefit. And so I'm very grateful for that. We stimulate each other.
That's so great. When you think about your books and the things that you wrote, what was one of the messages that you found that you wanted to come across for someone reading it?
I think one of the biggest messages I wanted people to take away from my books was just be yourself. It's okay to be you, as cliche as it sounds, but there were even some things I was nervous to write about. And I was like, oh, do I really want people to know this? I was kind of embarrassing, but my mom was just like, tell your truth, speak your truth, because there's someone out there who's going through the exact same thing and looking for some sort of understanding. So just be you and be confident in your decision to be you.
That's so great that you're able to be transparent at such a, because a lot of times, you know, when I talk about the social media, we guard the image we want to put out there. You know, we only gonna put the glamorous, nice filter, you know, that we want to have out there, because a lot of times that's we want people to see. What allowed you to be so vulnerable about yourself? How, you know, what made you get to that point?
That is a beautiful question. I think what I would say is I've had to find the beauty in vulnerability. It wasn't something easy to do. And I talk about in my books just how everyone's so content with not caring and not showing emotion. And I got to a point within my middle school years that I was just sick of it. I was tired of pretending that things that bothered me didn't. And so I remember pretending to be okay so much, I started convincing myself that I was, even though I wasn't. And so just taking the time to say, these emotions are beautiful. My sensitivity is beautiful, and my empathy is beautiful. And it's a part of what makes me me. It's a part of what makes me human. And it's the part of me that people relate to. And so it's learning to see those things that we consider to be flaws, things that we consider embarrassing, and seeing the beauty in them and how much power they really hold. And just
That's
love.
So great.
I'm very big on love and sharing and experiencing, and I don't ever want to prevent myself from doing that.
What is something that, I guess, a mantra that you were saying you do affirmations. What is the one thing that the morning thing, the night thing that you say to yourself?
One thing I definitely say, it's something my mom tells me to say, but it has like a bad word in it, so I'm not going to say that.
You are an adult now. Although you're a teen, but you're an adult. You're an adult right now.
My mom, she always tells me, she's like, Essynce, say you're the shit. Like, say I'm the shit. And so she's always telling me like, yo, you gotta love yourself. Like, you have to be in love. She was like, cocky, whatever, screw that, love yourself. And so another thing I always say to myself, I always say I'm worthy. I always say I'm deserving. Everything that has benefited me and worked in my favor, I am worthy of those blessings and everything that they consist of. And so, because I feel like sometimes one thing I used to do, and this just goes to show how much my circle has changed, and as well in terms of the people I surround myself with. But I didn't like sharing a lot about what I did and my achievements, because I always felt like it was bragging. No, my mom was like, own it, like you worked hard, own it. And so now I'm around people who want to hear about it and who are encouraging me to speak more about it. So it's definitely been beautiful. Yeah, it's a beautiful process.
That's so great that you have your mother that's that way. Because, like, listen, it took me a long time to even call my husband because I felt like it was bragging. And it's sad that we have a mentality that things are good in our lives shouldn't be boasted about. You know, we should be walking down the street saying this and saying that and telling people, oh, you know, I did this. Oh, but we feel like we don't want someone else to feel like their light is dimmed, when we don't realize we're shining a light on them. We're letting them share the light, because we're saying, look what I've done, look what I've accomplished, look what I've done in my life. So I'm still at that age and I'm learning that lesson. So that's good that your mom is pouring that in you to say, no, tell people, because a lot of times people will be encouraged, inspired by it. Like, oh my God, since you're doing this, that's so great. That's really inspiring me to really want to do the thing I've been putting off. So that's great that, you know, that you're having that presence of mind, your mom is constantly reminding you to do that. So that's really great.
Mhm.
You are a very grounded young woman, I will say.
Yes.
Thank you. I
You
appreciate
really
it. Thank you
are.
so much.
You really are. So do you have a lot of friends that come to you? I know you said your circle is small, but do they tend to come to you for advice, or, do you
I
tend to do
have
that?
so many people that come to me for it. And I remember it being so crazy because it's not just my friends. I would have one conversation with someone I've met for the first time, and they will share their life with me and their story
Mm,
with me and just ask me about it and what I think and what I feel or how they should handle something. And I would refer to myself as a healer. I feel like I've helped a lot of people heal. And so
Mm,
it is something that I've learned to
mm,
be very patient and understanding about, but also it just goes back to balance because I have to protect me and my energy as well. So I love
right.
helping, but I have to keep in mind, okay, since you got to help yourself first. And so it's been interesting. Yeah.
So talk about your fashion. Like I was looking through, I always do like the Google searches and see what comes up. And I saw like you have hair from this color to shave sides and this stuff. Like what inspires you to get one more? Like, you know what I want? A shave side with purple hair. Like what makes you decide to do that?
Yo, I love fashion so much. I love doing different hairstyles and stuff. I was supposed to get like half orange, half black this week. That might have gotten switched up. Still figuring it out. But
Halloween.
literally, yeah, literally, I feel like fashion has always been the one place where I just got to be free. I can
Mm,
do absolutely whatever I wanted. And so I've had people ask me before, how do you pull off all these styles? How are you so confident within this? And it's just knowing you own it, like making it, even like there would be times I would go to the hair salon and I did not like the way my hair came out. I think we've all been there, but I would just
yes.
make it look intentional. I would make it look like me. And it got to the point where people expected it from me. So even like when it was wrong, they wouldn't know. They just, oh, that's just Essynce. Like,
That's
so
what me.
right. So you just gotta own it, and that's definitely something I do. And shaving the side of my hair, I did that when I was 12, and I
Mm.
remember my mom being all for it, my dad not so much, and I had to explain to him like, Daddy, I just want to be me, and he was like, you know what, fine, just go do it. And so I loved it. It helped me find myself within the process, and fashion, that's definitely my freedom.
And I think again goes back to having parents. And I think that's, it's great to have that. And not everyone has that, but just knowing finding who you are through the journey of people trying to tell you not to be something, don't do this. I don't think that'll look good to you, but you said, no, let me do that. And a lot of times, again, parents stifle children because they want them to either be a carbon copy of them or because someone didn't do that for them, then they tell them they shouldn't do it. So it's good that you have parents who allowed you to express yourself, because a lot of times that allows you to lead to all the things that you were able to venture into, because your parents say, sure, go write a book. Sure, go be,
Absolutely.
paid, go do this. So we'll have to be like, stay in a lane, pick a lane. And what are your thoughts about that? Because oftentimes people are told to pick one thing, and you have a variety of things that you've done. What is your thoughts about being able to be creative in all these aspects of your life?
I've always said I never wanted to limit myself to anything, even if it were things I didn't like, even if it were things I didn't understand. I never wanted to limit myself. I never wanted to say, this is the line, this is what you can't do, because I can do anything. And so
Mm,
even in school, I joined the JROTC program because I wanted to experience that. I wanted to know what that was like. I took a cooking class, I took acting classes, and just I wanted to learn. I'm all about learning, and a lot of times doing all those different things and experiencing all those different things, they teach you what you like, they teach you what you don't like, they teach you about yourself. So it's definitely a journey that you can benefit from.
mm-hmm. And you pull from it. That's such a great thing. Do you have, I guess, a circle of friends that you all kind of sit around and like a creative team outside of your mother being a person who kind of encourages you? Do you have a team of people that you work with that are your friends, or is it other people you're trying to get to the industry with?
I would say again, I don't like limiting myself. So I mean, I speak to people in the industry that I hang out with. I speak to my friends I go to school with, and a lot of times I'm always like linking people up. Like, I want you to meet this one, and then I want us to all talk about this. So even my friends, like I have friends here in Georgia, I have friends back in New Jersey, and I'll have us all like video chat, hop on the phone, like, hey,
Yes.
I don't know a lot about this, but he does, so I'm gonna just be on a three-way and y'all just hash it out.
That's
So
awesome.
it's amazing. And even like my older friends, they help me stay grounded. And my new friends, they help motivate me in terms of where I'm going and where I want to go. So it's balanced and it's beautiful.
That is so great. Because like I said, a lot of times people, and I was going to ask you too, when is your birthday? Because I feel like that's such a characteristic that, but when is your birthday?
August 10th. I'm a Leo.
Woo!
Yeah.
I'm a Leo too.
Are you? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's close enough to Virgo, so whatever.
It is.
You a Virgo?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I know a lot of Virgos. Yeah.
So many attributes of that is because I'm the same person. I can be somebody on the street and say, "What you saw?" Somebody was just asking me that they wanted a sweater put together, and like, let me give you their phone number. So that's a great thing because a lot of times, and I was saying this earlier to someone about we hold on to information. Those who don't have a good spirit about people do that because people who feel like they should encourage and inspire others will. But I think that's such an attribute that everyone should try to take on. If you know someone, like if they say, "Oh, Essence does that," let me call her up for you. Share that information. But not a lot of people feel that because they're like, "Well, I don't want to bother her," or some people just don't feel like they want to share it because now everybody has their best interest. But that's great that you feel that way and you found the circle of people that have done that for you as well. Like they'll get on the phone and talk to your friend that knows how to do something. Has it been a
Absolutely.
skill that you wanted to pick up that you're trying to teach yourself?
It's been something I have wanted to learn, but I also learned it subconsciously. One thing I definitely learned, and this is for anyone who's curious as to how to better your circle and your friendship group and things like that, is you have to start with yourself. You have to be the friend that you'd want and have the qualities you will want in the friend in order to attract someone like that.
Mm-hmm.
So me coming across like-minded individuals who I love comes from me loving myself, because when you give off that energy, then the universe reciprocates it.
That's so true. Because it's always one of those things where you can't have people who are like you're constantly trying to pull them, rally them up, and not to
Right.
say you can't, give people advice, but when you realize that, it's not being reciprocated, at some point you got to be like, all right, that's enough. Thank
Sometimes
you.
you just gotta fall back. Sometimes you just gotta love people from afar. I don't got no
Exactly.
problem doing that, and it is what it is.
You lost your audio. Kia, are you on mute? Say it again.
Now that you graduated, what's a typical day like for you as a teen entrepreneur?
A typical day as a teen entrepreneur, very busy. And a lot of it has to do with me holding myself accountable now, because in school, you got teachers, you got everybody telling you stay on top of your game. Now it's just me. My mom helps, but even she's like, all right, Essence, you got to stay focused. You got to be
Yeah.
independent. I don't want you to rely on anyone. I don't want you to rely on me. So
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I have a to-do list. I have an alarm set. I like getting up in the morning between 10:30 is the latest I'll get up. I like being up around 5:30 if I go to bed between like 9 and 11. And I don't like sleeping in the, like, if I wake up at 1 o'clock, it puts me to bed because it's like I don't miss my day. And I love being very productive. So I get up, and first thing, the morning is about self-care to me. That's very important to me. So even just playing my music, taking a shower, getting dressed, even if I'm not going anywhere, getting dressed just puts me in the spirit of productivity and getting stuff done. So I work on my acting. I take acting classes and I take a film production class. So I'm constantly writing scripts and working on what it's like being in front of the camera, what it's like being behind the camera. I'm working on fashion. I'm working on my writing and just a bunch of different projects to keep me productive, keep me in the process of fulfilling my purpose.
Are you going to, at some point, I know you say you don't want to speak too much about your own projects right now, but is the hope to produce your own thing, or are you wanting to partner with someone?
Right now, my focus has been producing my own projects, but I also, partnership is definitely a part of the process. I do have a partnership I've been in the process of working on now within one thing that I do. And then I have some other more individualistic things I'm working on for, I want to say, late 2020, early 2021.
So I know most of the things have been opened back up where you are now. Have you been able to still work around things that kind of been shut down? Are you still doing stuff like selling product? Because a lot of stuff you do are online, correct?
Yes, I sell products online, and then we've literally just started opening back up in terms of vending and that type of thing. My mom
Okay.
literally just mentioned to me the other day, there's supposed to be an event, and my mom was like, oh, well, you could go and sell your art. So that's something I might do. And it's been opening up surely, slowly but surely. I attended a panel, and that was awesome.
Oh,
And
that's good.
yeah, just dealing with the cards I've been dealt, making it work.
Do you rely a lot on in terms of like your social media to put your, like if I'm be at this location and have your people come out to see you then, or you just kind of like let it flow as it go?
I mix it up. Sometimes I let it flow. Sometimes I'll post and promote on social media. Honestly, I love to just feel out the energy that day, see what I'm feeling that day, and play off of that. But social media is a tool. It is very important. So I do use it. I try to use it intentionally, and so with a certain focus in mind. So if I feel as though that's something I want to do and post and share and spread the word, then that's what I'll do. Or sometimes I'll just go somewhere and see what it is and feel it out and play it by ear.
Mhm.
So I noticed that you love to shop because I know you love fashion. And I think we do as well. But you go to thrift stores, and I love going to like thrift stores.
Mhm.
How did you, what was your first experience in a thrift store, and why do you love it so much?
I love that question. Oh my God. I know my mom's gonna get on me too, because she's like, I think you shop too much. But my first experience in a thrift store back in Jersey, I want to say this was in Elizabeth, or it had to be Elizabeth or Roselle, something like that. It was in Union County, I think. And my aunt, she's like me times 10. I was just on the phone with her yesterday, my aunt Ethia. And so she would always take me and my cousin to the thrift store and like pick out stuff. And I remember the first time looking at those prices, like $2, like this is only $2, and just falling in love with the cut. Like I could get more clothes for a cheaper price. I'm all for it. And then I got older and I was like, yo, there are benefits to the environment with this as well. So I love thrifting. I think I love thrifting more than actual shopping. So it's so fun, and it's about like, it's not about seeing what things as they are, but seeing them what they could be. And so
Absolutely.
it's fun. It's definitely an experience.
It is. It is.
What was the find that you got one time and you were just like so shocked that you couldn't believe that it was there?
Probably getting like 30 things and it only coming down to $80.
Wow.
Like
30
little
things for
stuff like,
$80.
right. Because you know, you go to Urban Outfitters, you could get a pair of pants for 80. But
Right.
oh man, I love thrifting. I absolutely do.
But
Do
that's a
you-
great thing to be
oh,
in a mix, because they say you're supposed to do a high and low. Like you
mhm.
find some at a thrift shop or consignment store, and then you can go to Urban Outfitters and pair it up with something that you spent $2 on. So
Mhm.
that's always the best thing about it. Because I know my mom, when I was younger, she took us to the thrift store during the summertime because she was like, "I'm not buying you new clothes to get dirty and torn and all that stuff." But it taught me a lesson, because I'm the kind of person that I want to buy clothes that are not as expensive, because you're going to outwear them, or the fashion trend of it is going to be gone. So now you spend all this money on something that nobody's wearing anymore. But if you're creative enough, like Essence, you'll make it a fashion trend no matter what, right?
Right.
Do
So
you
what
sew as
trend?
well?
Yeah.
Do you sew as well?
Do I sell what?
Clothes, like,
Clothes? I do sell clothes. I do. I do.
Like what fashion trend has kind of made you go, I don't think I'm gonna wear that. Has there been anything you ever looked at and was like, oh, I'm not gonna do that?
Honestly, there have been times, and this is kind of an interesting answer, I guess you could say, but there have been times where I've liked something, but I've seen it so much
Oh,
everywhere
yes.
because it was trending that I've been like, I don't want it.
And
Because
that's
it's
so
like,
true.
yeah, I love things that are different. I love things that are unique. I've thrifted clothing before that I didn't even like, but I got it because I've never seen anything like it before. And
mhm.
Yes.
so I guess there are some trends that I've been like, oh, that's really cute, but
Everybody's
everybody,
doing it.
everywhere, I'm good.
Like,
Yeah.
I'll give you an example, like the gladiator sandals. I was like, everybody and their grandmama got these they go wearing them to church. They wearing them to the grocery store. And I was like, I refuse them. And just like now, I didn't see them this summer. I mean, maybe because nobody was out, but everybody was wearing them. And I was like, I'm not. Well, plus my calves was probably gonna suffocate in them. So that probably had something to do with it too. But no, I definitely completely understand that way. You're like, if everybody's doing it, I don't want to do it, or
Yeah.
put a spin on it to where it becomes your own. So that's so true.
Exactly. Yep.
Who are some of your I guess inspirations in terms of fashion to music to television? Who are some of the people that you look at and love?
Some of my biggest fashion inspirations, I would definitely say, I think Zendaya's style is really dope.
Oh
Her
yeah, I
style
love
is
her.
really cool. I love Aaliyah's style too, like her 90s. Aaliyah's style is dope. I'm trying to think of who else. I
I can see a
think,
remake. Didn't they do a movie of hers and that was like they did was terrible? I can see that and see you playing her. Wasn't that one of the movies that was like terrible? Elias movie, I think it
I know
was.
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. But I can see you if they ever actually really try to do that. I can see you playing her. That would be a good
I'd love
casting.
to. That'd be such an honor. Absolutely.
I can see
So
it.
Elias, as far as style, as far as music, who's in your playlist?
Who's in my playlist in general or Aaliyah?
Just in general, like what's your play? When you put your music on, who you listening to?
My music is very diverse. I listen to this band called Weezer. I
Mm,
listen to her. I love her's voice.
she's good.
I listen to Bob Marley sometimes.
Mhm.
I love old music. I love the Righteous Brothers
Wow.
and oh, what was his name? Richie Nelson,
Okay.
Smokey Robinson. I
Mhm.
love music. I do. So just a
That's
little bit of
awesome.
everything. It's whatever I'm feeling. Yeah.
So we were just not too long ago covering a movie called Lit that talks about the dance scene and the house music dance scene in New Jersey. Were you ever into that kind of house music dance scene ever? Because I know, like I said, we just found out there's like a whole dance battle thing that happens in New Jersey. Had you ever experienced that?
You talking about like Jersey club music like that?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's like, oh my gosh, I miss it. I didn't realize how much I missed it until I moved. Like, because
Yeah.
there's certain things in Jersey that you would only know if you're from Jersey,
Yes.
like Jersey
Mhm.
club dances and stuff. I remember being in elementary school and going to the parties and we'd all just break out and dance. Like,
Yes.
matter what part of Jersey you were from, everybody just knew we were just all on the same wavelength for these 3 minutes and 30 seconds. And it brings back so many memories. Yes, it's a part of the culture. It's fun.
Yes. And that's what I always say, because when I guess when we saw the movie, I didn't know there was like a whole dance battle. That people have this whole thing where they battle and win prizes. And because it's so specific to the New Jersey scene, that it's one of those things that I was like, this is awesome that they have this, because I know in DC it's go-go for us. But if you're not from the area, you wouldn't know that that's what it is. So it's good that they have that. Did you? Because you said you was dancing. Was it different styles of dancing that you did? Did you do ballet? Was there other things that you did as far as dancing?
I attended Made Arts, which was a performing arts school. And so it was also a summer camp as well. And so I did ballet, I did
Wow.
jazz, and I did a little bit of hip hop throughout the summer. Yeah, but dancing is just a part of New Jersey. Like every party, every get together, once the music comes on, everyone's already got their choreography. So yeah.
That's funny. That is so
That's
great
so
though, because
true.
I know in certain places, these teens now, parties they go to, they stand on the wall. So I love to see that, that in Jersey, when music comes on, they're going to be dancing.
Absolutely.
I love that. That is so great.
So, what advice do you have for a up and coming child who wants to be an entrepreneur? What advice do you have for them?
My advice would be make sure it's something you love. Make sure it's something you're passionate about and make sure you're doing it for you. Because there are times when I have to remind myself why I started in the first place because it can get difficult. It can be very difficult. It can be challenging. But
Mhm.
on those days, that's when I remind myself why I started in the first place. And it's because I love it. It's because it brings me joy. It makes me happy. And I feel as though I'm fulfilling my purpose when I'm doing what I love. So just make sure this is something you're serious about. Make sure it's something you love, and you got to be in it to win it.
You have been mentioned and honored and recognized in so many places. Was it one recognition that stood out to you that made you feel like, what you were doing was heading in the right direction?
So many have made me feel that way. I think The first thing that comes to mind is when I spoke at a foster home in Georgia that changed my life. And it just goes to show how similar we all are in spite of our circumstances, in spite of what we've all been through. We're so similar. And then another one that's come to mind is when I was asked to speak at my school, at my old middle school, and all the kids knew me, and it was just like this new generation of kids, and they all knew who I was, and all my teachers were there. And I would go to my old teachers' classrooms, and they've got like the time I was in a newspaper hanging up on their wall, and it's just moments like that I hold very close, and they're just things you don't forget.
That's so great. Well, if you are everything in terms of things that have challenged you, how did you, in terms of like, get to the point where you overcome it? Because a lot of times people like feel like if you keep doing something, all right, maybe it's not for you. But when you get challenged by something, how do you push through it?
I push through it. First, I feel like you have to acknowledge that something's affecting you in order to even begin the journey of moving forward. So just owning those feelings for a little bit, like, I feel this way, this sucks, but I'm going to choose not to stay in the situation. I want better for myself. So just, again, reminding myself why I do what I do, because it comes from a place of love. It comes from a place of passion, and understanding that this is all just a part of the process, and this is just the beginning. There's so much I've yet to experience, so many moments that I've yet to be a part of that are going to make all of this worth it. And so even the fact that I've come this far makes it so much worth it. And honestly, anything worth having is worth fighting for. Anything worth obtaining isn't going to be easy to get. So that's it.
What's your 5-year plan look like?
My 5-year plan. Honestly, I get this question. I'm just like, man, I'm just fortunate enough to have made this far into 2020. But
you're like, breathing is my 5-year plan.
Right. But I would love to just be happy. I would love to get my mom the house she deserves. I want to travel. That's something I really wanted to do this year, but plans change. I want to travel the world. I want to see the world. I want to act and star in movies. I want my clothes to be in different countries and worn on red carpets. And I want to do what I love. And I want to be financially stable and successful within that aspect.
And it will happen. It will completely happen, because I believe you have the fortitude and the determination to make it happen for yourself, for sure. And you have support system around you. That's always a key component, to have that people who are constantly saying, you got this, you can do this, a cheerleader. And I'll be a silent cheerleader from this point on, because meeting you has inspired me to know that, generations like yourselves are really out here, really, taking advantage of the things that they have and opportunities, because a lot of times things were limited by certain circumstances. And even you being able to speak at a foster home for kids who probably close to your age showed you that everybody's circumstance is different. Everybody's opportunities can be different, and how the trajectory of your life can change just from the circumstances that you're put in. So I applaud you in all the things that you're doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome.
And I just want to say, I always say my 4 Ps, to continue to follow your purpose, which you are doing. Be committed to your passion, which you are. Always remain patient, because things will come. And always remain positive, which you are.
Absolutely. Like snaps. Yes. Yes.
Well, do you go ahead, Key?
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, in terms of like when you do your motivational speaking, is it one thing that when you write stuff down, are you kind of coming it from your spirit, or do you write down what you normally would say?
I wing it.
That's awesome, though.
I feed off of the energy of my audience. I say what I feel needs to be heard, and so I play it by ear. It's very important to me to be in the moment when I'm speaking, to be present, and to let them know right now you have me. And so I say what I say.
But that's just that just goes to show you have such an anointed spirit, because the fact that you can go up there and pour out your heart without having some kind of script tells you how connected to a spiritual power that you are, because you don't need some kind of teleprompter telling you what you need to project out to others. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, you are amazing. And
Yes,
I'm
Thank
so
you so
glad.
much. Oh, you guys are amazing. Thank you for having me.
And we're going to be so honored because I feel like once you're able to bust this bubble in this too, we're going to be like, we had Essence on our show.
Yes, yes.
Exactly.
So that's so good. That's so great. But did you have, go ahead, Key.
No, we're looking forward to seeing all the things that you have coming, and we are so excited for you. And I know your journey is just only beginning. There's so much more ahead for you.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, before you go, anything would you like to say to anyone? Because like I said, your words can resonate to anyone, just as parting words to them.
Well, we touched a little on circumstances. I think I would just say that your circumstances don't define what you're capable of. You do that. Your age doesn't define what you're capable of. You do that. And so just love yourself, trusting yourself. You've made it this far, and that there is it's an accomplishment. Be proud of yourself. So I think I'll leave with that being said.
Well, thank you. We are honored to have you here. But that's again, Essence Moore. You can find her on all social media platforms. She has a website. You want to leave your website? We'll post it up on the page too. If you want to let everyone know too, where they can find you.
My website is essencecouture.com.
All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for joining us. So we inspire together. If you know someone who you want to tell their story, or if you inspire others, please let us know and hit us up on Facebook and Instagram. Until then, we'll see you here. Inspire someone today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Essence. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.